everyone. Today I am posting a video, obviously. Hold on. Hey, yo. Cut it out with the water bottle. Stop it. You my baby. One of my babies. I have 3. Say, hey, this is Boykin. He loves water bottles. Anywho, I wanted to talk about the scariness of transplants. Not only the pre-transplant and intra-transplant, but post-transplant. People think that just because you got new lungs that you are all fixed and better, and that is not the case at all. In fact, you have a lot to worry about post-transplant because you have to be so cautious about everything. That's one biggie, post-transplant. And another one is that your body could just one day say, you know what, I don't really like these lungs. I'm gonna reject them. And you know what? There's nothing that the doctors or you can do about it. Nothing. I mean, they can slow it down, but it usually is your body that says, nah, love, I'm good. Yeah. Okay, I feel like you're taking all the attention. Stop playing with the water bottle, please, and let mommy do her video in silence. Thank you. Don't touch that water bottle. Don't. It's like having a child. Anyway, so one thing pre-transplant that is very scary is finding the right lungs. This was hard for me because I was crashing fast. And when I mean crashing fast, I mean I was getting sicker and sicker by the week. They admitted me to the hospital and I was on 6 liters of oxygen. And for those who don't know, 6 liters of oxygen is a lot. That's like your lungs are like, I'm ready to check. I can't circulate oxygen throughout my body anymore. I need supplemental oxygen. And 6 liters is pretty high. That's almost close to you needing like high flow of oxygen. So I was decompensating really fast. And then my CO2 levels started to rise, which gave me less and less time to wait for these lungs. When your CO2 levels raise, you start to become confused. Some people need to be intubated and put on a vent where they can't breathe, they can't speak, they're mostly sedated the whole time, which can basically sadly kill you faster. And that's where I was headed really fast. And I got a call each week. So for 3 weeks, I got a call saying, oh, we have new lungs for you. Because I was getting higher and higher the list. The higher you get in the list, the sicker you are. So each week I was getting super high. So the first week they prepped me. I cried all my tears out. I was like, I'm gonna do this. All my family was there. And they got me down to surgery. They put the epidural in, which was for the pain. They sedated me and I woke up back in my room with the same lungs. That was like a brick hit me. I was so depressed and so disappointed, and my surgeon came up to talk to me and said, these lungs, they were not good for you. We can find better lungs. You would not have lasted long with these lungs. We need better lungs for you. We have time. We have other options. We're gonna wait for new lungs. First week. Second week, I got a call. And the surgeon came into the room and said, look at these lungs. These lungs are horrible. They were hepatitis C lungs, which is a high-risk donor lung that I chose to do because I was so sick I didn't have time to waste. So I chose to be in the high-risk donors, and those lungs looked like my lungs. They were shriveled and just like not even, I don't even know why they were even considered for a transplant. That was my third week. That was my second week. My third week, once again, we don't have lungs for you. Well, they had lungs, but they weren't good enough. So then they started thinking about putting me on ECMO, which basically means you're on the brink of death. Like your body is not going to last long with the lungs that you have or the oxygenation that they can give you. It's basically a bridge to transplant. It keeps you alive, but it does take a toll on your body, and it's harder for you as a transplant recipient to recover and to use those lungs. So that was my third week, and then me and my lungs, we had not my lungs, me and my body and God had a serious conversation, because I was either going to die in that hospital or I was going to get those new lungs. And I prayed and I prayed and I prayed, and the fourth week I got my lungs. So one thing pre-transplant is just waiting for those lungs and hoping that your body doesn't check out before you get your lungs. Intra-transplant, which is in the middle of pre-transplant and post-transplant. So during the most difficult time, it's post-op, immediate post-op. And that for me obviously was being in the ICU. I have a video on that. It's a really good video. I am waiting for that to be edited, and I'm going to post that when it is, but I won't get into that now. The ICU and rehabilitating my lungs, immediate post-op, which is a couple of weeks after you're, awake from sedation. That's hard too, because your body can just do whatever it wants. It might not accept your new lungs. It might, your body might say, my body's too weak, I can't do this. But that's neither here nor there. That is being talked about in my ICU experience. Post-op, which is what I'm in right now, as far as 3 months and on, people don't understand. Like, everybody is there when you're immediately out of the surgery and you are looking like crap and you're looking like you're at your worst. And then when you start walking around and getting back to your life, people are like, oh, okay, she's good. But really, I have a daily battle with myself, because I have to watch out for everything. I have to be put in like a bubble, kind of. I have to, it makes me comfortable when people cough around me or sneeze around me or anything. Like I feel like I have to isolate myself because I don't want to get sick. If I get sick, if I get a cold, if I get sniffles, if I get any type of respiratory thing that a normal person can fight off at home, I'm in the hospital, and that could kill me. A cold could kill me. It could turn into pneumonia, and it could really damage my lungs. Like, it's no freaking joke. Like, none. Like, I have to be so diligent about who I'm around, what I let around me, what I touch, what I breathe in. It's no joke. And it scares me every single day, because you never think about these things, and there's so many ways that you can catch a respiratory infection. So many ways. And it's like you try to watch everything. And I have a husband, he works in healthcare, and I have to worry about him and making sure that he's being diligent at work and making sure I'm not touching anything or anybody's coughing in my face. I sit by myself in class because I'm afraid to be around people. Like, I'm that fragile, and it's scary. And then another thing is, which is the biggest worry for me, is the longevity, which means how long you will last with your new lungs. Statistically, 4 or 5 years, which means that it's medically proven people who get lung transplants only live 4 to 5 years. They don't somewhere down that road, people tend to reject their lungs and can't get back to normal. And that's the scariest part for me, is that any type of cold, any type of cough, sneeze, that can put me in the hospital and that can kill me. My body could say, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm rejecting these lungs. Peace. Like anything. People just don't understand the struggle that people with lung transplants, because it's such a complex case that people don't understand that we struggle daily. Worrying, is my body gonna reject these lungs today? Am I gonna die today? Am I gonna get an infection and is it gonna kill me? It's not something to take lightly. And I think a lot of people need to understand that, especially families and friends of people who have gone through lung transplants. It's not the end of the battle when you get your new lungs. You're still going on wondering whether you're going to die today, whether you're going to get pneumonia today, whether you're going to get a serious infection today. It's not over just because we get new lungs. And that's something that I need for a lot of people who are dealing with people who have lung transplants, is that just because we're out of the hospital, that doesn't mean we won't end up back in the hospital. That doesn't mean we won't die. We have new lungs and we try to, take care of them, but sometimes the body is just so complex that it just does what it wants to do. So I just want to let a lot of people know that there are a lot of scary things when it comes to transplant, especially lung transplant, because it's so easy to get a respiratory infection. People with heart transplants have it easier than us. You would think that they don't, but they do. A respiratory infection, which is so easy to get, will not affect them the way it affects us. So thank you for listening to this. I hope you learned something from it, and I hope that you can look at people like us differently and be more passionate. Have a good night.